So here's the wheel stick tool, and I'm going to show you how to make one. Very easy, very simple, and quite cheap to make. Now, if you're not sure what one does, I'll just quickly describe it to you. If you hit something on the road rather hard and it puts a ding in your rim, now we're not talking about a buckle. A buckle's when it hits your brake pads, it goes sideways like that. That's a buckle. This one's when you hit something on like that, or near enough to straight on, and it usually puts a rupture in your tyre and gives you a flat tyre, and your rim goes doink, 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 doink like that. So what this tool does, the wheel stick tool, one end fits on the hub, the other end fits on the rim, and you wind up the nut and it pushes that ding out of the rim, so your wheel is nice and straight again. So that's what it does. For more details, you can go to the other video that describes how to actually use the wheel stick tool. So now, how you can make your own wheel stick tool. You can either make it from scratch, or you can use the previous tool, the press tool, some of the parts, the nuts and washers and the thread from that, to make the rest of the wheel stick tool. So let's get on and we'll show you how you can make your own wheel stick tool. If you're using 5/8 or M14 thread on your press tool, these are the extra bits you're going to need to make the wheel stick. And if you're using 1/2 inch thread, add to these pieces a 13mm piece of poly pipe. The steel tubing should be available at any hardware store, and it's very cheap. And the size of the tubing, the important part is that it has an inside diameter of 19mm. This particular piece is 19mm by 1.2mm. First thing is get your tubing and cut yourself a piece 143mm in length. Then get a metal file and clean up the inside and the outside edges. Just get rid of those burrs so they're nice and smooth. Now get your 20mm threaded T and cut it so it looks like this. So put the T in the vise, or hold it steady somehow, and we're just going to cut off these two ends here. So start there, right there. Now those two pieces that you've just cut off, don't throw them away, because they are your two expansion collars to press the 1.5" headset cups on your press tool. Now we're going to cut it down here, so about halfway. There's two little dots there, that'll give a marker, which is good on this side anyhow. Right. Then turn it over and do the same to the other side. Right. Looks like that now. And again, give it a bit of a clean up with the file, get rid of those bird ends. Now your 19mm threaded to barb piece, and cut off the barb. Now the 19mm plug piece, and cut off at the barb. Clean off those burrs from the plug with the metal file again, inside and out. Now your plug needs to fit inside the head. It needs to go all the way down. Now there's a flange. If your plug has got a flange on it, like this one, then you need to file that so that it fits all the way in to that top piece. So one way of doing it is get your piece of threaded rod, put it on there, and just keep filing around, file off that flange until it fits nicely inside the hole in there, nice and snug. Right, so it now fits nicely in there, all the way through. Now you get those two pieces, and screw that one into that one, nice and tight. Now it looks like that. Make sure it goes all the way in. If you can't do it with your hand, get an adjustable spanner, put it on there and tighten it up. You'll feel it'll come to an end. Right, and that's the head unit done, complete with its plug. Now to make the foot piece, you take your 19mm and 13mm T-piece and you cut at the shoulders on the 19, then you cut at the barb on the 13, and then you slice across the top on the 19 like we did with the head unit. So, once again, give it a nice clean up, get rid of those burrs, make it nice and smooth on the edges. Now the foot piece and a cut off piece of hose, just put it against the shoulder on that 19 and mark it with a pen approximately, and then just cut the hose piece at that point. Now get that piece and that small washer. That small washer fits on there, and then your hose piece. You can put the rough end down if you want, and just put that on there. Squash it on. Done. So now you're up to there, and that should fit into the pipe. Now if you find it's really tight and you can't get it in, it's got to go in firm but not too loose, and definitely not too tight. So what you can do is, if the hose is too thick, just file it. Keep filing nice and round until it fits in nicely. Like this one. And get your rod, the head on there, with your little plug there, and a washer, then a nut, then another nut, then a washer, and that piece you just finish. Done. For your 1/2 inch thread, again 13mm poly. In Australia we buy it 15-metre rolls for only $10 from your local hardware store, really cheap. So yeah, cut two pieces, one's 120mm in length and one's 30mm. So get the bottom part of your tool and put the 120mm piece in, just push it straight in like that, and then get the head of your Wheelstick tool, take out the plug, put in the 30mm piece, just push it in the plug like that, and put the plug back in the head, and there, oops, of course the washer, get the washer, then that, line it up, and of course then the other washer, and then you're done. You've got a Wheelstick tool now. Now a few little pointers with the Wheelstick tool, how to use it. Go back to the previous Wheelstick tool and it will show you how to use it rather than me take up your time in this video. Now the other thing is, with the adjustable here, with the plug there, if you adjust the top nut up, the plug will recess down the bottom, so it'll put more pressure on the sides, like that, on your rim. Now if you pull the nut down, then the plug will come up and it can either come flush or protrude out a little bit. If it protrudes out a bit, then it'll put more pressure on one point. So it depends what you want. Now if you make the plug level with the curve there, then it will press nice and evenly. So it's quite adaptable in that area. That's what your top nut is really for. The other thing you might want to do is some rims are not necessarily a nice U shape like that, but some are quite pointy. So you can put an extra insert in, and you can just get a piece of any old tubing. This is 19mm hose pipe, and just put that in and it'll be a different shape. Now if you've got really pointy rim, I did one for a recent customer, and he had a really pointy, like a V section rim, so I made this one. It's even smaller and that fits in there. So you can have an insert in an insert. There you go, like that. Anyhow, you can make little inserts for various shaped rims. Now using a 36 spoke wheel, there's a lot of spokes and they're very close together. So on your wheel stick tool, if you've used the large thread, the 5/8 thread, then the nuts are rather large on the outside. In fact, the spanner to fit it is rather big and bulky. It's 25mm or 1 inch. So when you go and put your wheel stick tool in, it's difficult to spanner to get in there, but it's not actually, because you need to take out 2 of the spokes opposing each other anyhow. That'll expose an area there. The reason you do that is you allow the rim to show its natural imperfection, and that's what you need to do. So you obviously got that in, and you need to push it out. So you put your wheel stick tool in, and then you wind up the nut. And you'll find, get the right size, there's plenty of room to do the adjusting with the spanner. Look at that. So no problem there. If you're making both the press tool and the wheel stick tool, good on you. That's excellent. Another little suggestion, what I did, go down to the cheap shop and buy a little plastic box like this, and I put all the bits in for both tools. It fits really nice and neatly. So that way you can just pick out the bits you need, assemble the tool for the job, and then we'll put it back in again. It looks very professional too, doesn't it? So you've got the 3 different size collar fittings there. You've got your thread with the 2 nuts on, the body of the wheel stick tool with the foot attached to it, 2 small washers, 2 large washers, the head of the wheel stick tool, 2 expansion collars for pressing the 1.5" headset cups, the 2 different size pair of soft washers for pressing in the recessed bearings, if you've got recessed bearings to press. And then of course here's a few different assorted rim inserts for pressing different shaped rims as well. So all nice and kept in a nice little box. Well, I've had fun developing this tool, and I hope you have a lot of fun as well and satisfaction from making and using the tool yourself. If I can help you out, not all the poly bits are available around the world. In Australia we've got heaps of poly bits because of our water shortage, so we need it. So if you have any trouble obtaining some of the poly bits to make these tools, let me know, and I should be able to post them out to you. If you pay for the parts, which are actually very cheap anyhow in Australia, and the postage, I'll do my best. I'll send them out to you, and that way you can get your tool done as soon as possible. Any questions or difficulties as well that you have making the tool, let me know in the comments below, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Okay, that's it for now, and we'll see you soon. Get back on the bike. It's a bit hard when you're sitting there for so long and you have a biscuit or a cup of coffee or tea, whatever you have, your banana, and then you have to get and then you have to get back on your bike again, and you don't feel like getting back on your bike, so it's no good. Don't have long coffee breaks. Have a short one, and then it's alright getting on your bike. It's not so painful. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.